r/ask Reddit. Steve Irwin has you pinned down in a headlock. What cool facts does he tell the audience about you and your habitat? I don't care. He calls me a beaut and I really needed to hear it. You're a beaut, mate. No, you're all beaut. You're all beauts. Oh now looky here. Notice how he seems almost entirely apathetic to my attack. That's because he spends almost every waking moment pretending not to be bothered by the current situation he is in, despite the fact that he is incredibly irritated. To him, this is just another Monday morning staff meeting. He is truly a gorgeous example of mental endurance. This is hilarious and I wish I couldn't relate to it, huh? That's the spirit. How the foo frick did I get 2.5k upvotes for this lame comment? It was sincere, but still. Isn't he a beauty? You're alright, fella. You're alright. This guy is out looking for a Sheila, but he isn't having much luck. He's coming in late to the party. I laughed way harder at that last bit than I probably should have. At least you aren't the one thinking it might not be so bad to be pinned down by Steve Irwin. God, I'd love to get pinned down by any of the Irwins. The plus side to being B. Looking for a Sheila has me crying. Cheers. This little fella looks upset, but he actually craves physical contact. I was gonna say, knowing Steve, he would say a lot of nice things and I would just start crying. Oh, this one's a beauty. Amazing. Look at those tears. Too bad they're crocodile tears. I can just see two crocs discussing it now. Why didn't you bite him? Easy meal. He said I was gorgeous. Why can't you ever say things like that? His was the very best and really only memorable comment I can recall from all world leaders, celebrities and people after 9/11. He simply said, "I'm sincerely sorry, mate." And he said it with great sadness on his face. Crikey. This lil wrangler is quite the sneaky little one. This particular type of animal can hide in a dark room all day and never even see the sunshine. She will do as much as she can to avoid others of her kind. Man, are all gingers the same? Same. It's the soul that makes the sun feel good, so probably. The Irish really are the damned. My favorite saying about the Irish is being Irish. He had an abiding sense of tragedy, which sustained him through temporary periods of joy, and I don't think I've ever related so well to anything. Be very careful, mates. We have to show dominance. If we show any affection towards this creature, he'll get attached to us and never leave us alone. Truly one of the most terrifying beasts in North America. When I was a kid, my parents were about to get divorced, so I spent my time hiding. One day, I was so desperate for some human contact that I sat in a busy place on the playground and looked sad, hoping someone would ask if I was okay. I did something similar that I can't even bring myself to fully explain. I don't think I really recognized how lonely I was. I used to do this, but people kept coming over and asking me, "Are you okay, little buddy?" And that would annoy me, because I didn't actually want to be around people. I just didn't want to feel lonely. This hit me in the feels. When you're little, you don't understand it yet. At least I didn't. Wait, I feel like this and I don't understand it yet. What is it? This air is a common member of his species, and as you can see, he's got a fairly advanced case of fur loss, especially concentrated hair at the top of his head. Many males you find in the wild with this condition will try to compensate by growing the fur around their faces, and this fella is no different. This one looks like he spends his days being poked and nipped at by his wee ones. Note the characteristic paunchy belly and the general lack of muscle tone. This fella can spend up to 12 hours a day grazing and trying to find a nice spot to curl up for some shooty. The first half of this hits too close to home. Just wait till you start experiencing the second part. I write curled up on the floor next to my 2-year-old's bed at 3 in the morning. She's ill and require constant soothing. No, we don't know if it's C. My wife is in our bedroom with a squealing 3-week-old. I fell asleep during a lecture today. Not one I sat as a student. A lecture I was giving. Sounds enticing. LOL. I mean, anyone who tells you kids are the greatest are lying to some degree. Also, kids are the greatest and I wouldn't trade the experience for anything. You should have some. The truest sentiment of a parent. It's the greatest and most rewarding, ass-kicking, exhausting, stressful job I have ever had. But I wouldn't trade it for anything. Most days. This little bugger simulates reproduction up to 5 times a day. Almost exclusively without a mate. Then I imagine he would shove a Dorito in my mouth and chuck me back into my bedroom. Steve, in a barely audible whisper as he gets low to the ground. The u/squealiness is an endangered fella, meaning there aren't many of them left, and he most likely won't find a mate. Now if you watch Air, he's trying to attract a Sheila. 5 minutes of silence as Squealiness stares at his screen, before typing sub to the OnlyFans girl he's subbed to, followed by more dead silence. Better luck next time, little fella. If you see one of these in the wild, it's crucial you give them the space they need, as many of them can be highly poisonous. Thank you for reminding me that Steve Irwin referred to females as Sheilas. General Aussie thing as well, I think. I reckon. Oh, he's angry. Calm down, big fella. Ain't gonna hurt ya. Yeah, there we go. See, he likes when I give his noggin scratches like this. Yeah, these guys like to get all big and blustery, especially in front of a keyboard. They'll be real mean to each other, but they're good folk though. Just gotta let them know you care about them. Everyone acting like Steve ever said something bad about the animals. That's not a thing. Hagrid. Hagrid is the fictional version of Steve Irwin. I never put it together until now. They both ways talk about how good-natured every animal, creature is. Truly awesome. My daughter is the mini version of both. She was near tears when Harry killed the basilisk, the pool snake. It was so cute, and she's absolutely obsessed with Tui, the giant killer alien plant from Little Shop of Horrors. Like she coos at how adorable it is. She is always saying she feels she's a tiny Hagrid. We've been meaning to show her some Steve Irwin. Now I know what you're thinking. This here fella looks like an absolute killer. He's big, he's covered in hair, and if he wanted to, he could probably knock my block off with one swing. The truth is, his kind look far more scary than they really are. Despite their size, they're actually quite timid, and will only attack when threatened and backed into a corner. Truth is, he just wants to find a Sheila he can settle down with and, who knows, maybe have a couple of kids. Sadly, this fella hasn't had much luck lately. He's the last of his line, and it would be crying shame if he never got a family of his own. Puts PS2 controller in my hands. Luckily, here at Australia Zoo, we have a state-of-the-art gaming room, where this fella can play the video games of his youth, and relive his days as a juvenile, when life seemed so full of possibilities. That made me a little sad. That made me a lot sad. As a fellow large hairy man, this hits home. You wanna talk? This one right here can put up a fight if you put a bowl Cheetos within the area. Good thing is that this bloke is actually calm, because he ate a full bowl of Cheetos. I find it easiest to subdue one of these little fellas by withholding a local treat, Mountain Dew, till it settles down and plays nice. Awesome question. This unusually large example of his species is known to consume enormous quantities of cheese in one sitting. He is a very stealthy creature, with the ability to sit in one spot at a computer for up to 8 hours at a time. This number has been drastically reduced since the introduction of a mate and offspring into the nest. Do you just like grab a cheese block and chow down? Do you not? Crikey. This animal lives in a dilapidated bachelor pad and is capable of eating his weight in pudding over a weekend. Thanks for the gold and the little angel finch. Audible gasp from the audience. Audible gasp from the dilapidated bachelor pad. Audible gasp from his weight in pudding. Pudding maker rubs his hands from behind a tree. He's getting quite angry when he's getting poked with a stick. Pokes me with a stick. Dude, frick off. Sty fella. Now I'm going to shove my thumb up its butthole. That'll really piss him off. Don't threaten me with a good time. Please, daddy. See, this is why you take physical exercise seriously, kids. If you act like him and sit in front of a computer all day, it's really easy to pull a sneaky one in ya. I'm sitting in my chair looking at Reddit on my laptop. I've had a few beers, smoked a bowl and am relaxing. Steve jumps out from behind the chair, tackles me and gets me in a headlock. Steve. Easy, fella. Easy, there mate. Me. What the frick dude? Steve. Looking at camera that isn't there and struggling. Or, look at I am. He's nervous. But that's alright, you're alright, fella. Steve. This here is a common specimen. You can tell by his surroundings that he's given up on life and is just passing time until his eventual death. Me. No longer struggling. Because who cares? Steve. Notice how he has given up struggling. Listen to that, Steve puts his ear to my mouth dramatically. That is the wheezing of a man who hasn't done any activity in ages. Notice his surroundings. Empty beer cans. Crumbs on the chair. A bottle of lotion and crumpled up tissues. I think I have found his nest. My wife walks out of the bedroom to see Steve on top of me in the living room. Steve. Oh, look at that. There's his mate. This is a middle-aged housewife who looks to be giving up a bit herself. Notice the frown lines and her faded nightgown. Wife. Frick you. Aole. Steve. Oh, you're alright. Steve turns his attention back to the camera that isn't there. Steve. Now each of these specimens is a little different, but judging by the items in his nest and his mate, we can tell that he hasn't had his yearly loveless sex in quite a while, and is probably suffering from mild undiagnosed depression. Wife. I'm calling the cops. Steve. Ah crikey. I seem to have upset his mate, so I should probably release him into the wild before I get into too much trouble out here in the bush. Wife. Yeah, it's some Australian guy in cargo shorts and he's beating up my husband. Steve. You're alright. You're alright, ain't ya? Wife. Yeah, he's talking to a wall like there's someone there. No, I don't know. Yes, thank you. Please hurry. Steve picks me up and guides me back to my chair. Steve. I know I have seen these specimens many times in my career, but they always amaze me. Look how he sits there beautifully while he searches the internet for increasingly disturbing peen. Can't blame him. He's just trying to feel something. Anything really. I'm always in awe how resilient these specimens are. My wife sobs in the corner holding her phone as I just stare at Steve Irwin. Steve. What a beauty. Steve leaves the house, backing away slowly. Wife and I are just left wondering what the frick happened. You and wifey good bro? You okay dude? Congrats, you've made it to the end. You're a beast. Like and subscribe for more r/ask Reddit content. It's free, so why not just do it?